My wife said I'm boring because I'm happy with my simple life, and it led to divorce. I loved my job. It was close to home, with flexible hours, and the pay wasn't bad considering I didn't have a degree. My wife, 28 years old female, and I, 35 years old male, could afford a good life. We had 2 kids, a son who was 4 and a daughter who was 2. One Friday, I mentioned my boss was leaving. My wife asked if I was going to take his spot. I laughed and said, "No way. Who wants that headache?" This led to a fight. My wife accused me of lacking ambition and said I was boring for accepting things in life. She felt she always had to be the breadwinner, clawing her way up the corporate ladder. She was ambitious, constantly taking overtime and trying to get promoted, while I'd been in the same role for 7 years. She thought I'd become boring, that my carefree attitude made her bored. Ambition was attractive, it's what men should be. She said if I had some drive, I could be making 6 figures by now, and we could be living in a big city or have a bigger house. I didn't understand her logic. I was happy with my life. I was content. Why did I have to be a corporate shark constantly seeking the next promotion? I just wanted to work my 9 to 5 and go home to see my family. I liked having my weekends. I liked being happy. We had money, and for once, we weren't struggling. I didn't know how to explain to my wife that I was just happy. Why was someone being happy seen as wrong? Our house payments were good for our combined income. We weren't living paycheck to paycheck anymore. We did before we had kids and before marriage, but not now. I understood that if we were, she'd have every right to be upset, but we had our needs met. Unless the kids were going to some expensive college, our needs were met. I could afford a vacation, though we hadn't had one since the pandemic, and wouldn't take one anytime soon because our kids weren't vaccinated, and she wouldn't get the vaccine. Ultimately, it ended in a divorce. We were just 2 different people going in different directions. Her initial reasons were envy. She admitted she was envious I could accept my life the way it was and be happy with so little, never moving up in my career. She envied that I could go home happy and not stressed, not dreading the work week. She never had that luxury, always feeling stressed and worthless for getting such a late start in life. The real reason was she wasn't happy with her life. She admitted she could not be happy living in the suburbs, being a soccer mom. This life wasn't for her. She wanted to constantly climb, constantly strive to improve. She wanted a big house, to be rich, to be somebody, and not just live. She wanted someone equally ambitious, not someone content like me. She wanted someone willing to take major risks, to make spur-of-the-moment plans. To her, it was like constant pressure. She didn't want to stay in one place, doing the same thing forever. I was the exact opposite. I didn't want to constantly be moving, constantly doing more. I wanted to be happy and live a quiet, humble life. She couldn't understand how I could want that, and I couldn't fathom why she wouldn't. We realized we couldn't continue. It wasn't fair to either of us, nor to our kids.